What's up, everybody? It's Friday, and I'm ready to give you an over-under. Are you ready for this? I have come to the conclusion, and we got the boat company here in front of me. Ballistic Boats. Have you heard of them? Have you heard of Ballistic Boats? You've heard me talk about them. You've heard me this. You heard me that. This, that, and the other. I'm here to break it down for you right here. I got the paperwork right from Ballistic. Here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? 20 footer. Remember, we're doing 20 footer. So this would be their 204. 204, not the 214 or 223, the 204. You ready for this? Boat, trailer, everything sitting. So it'll come to you with no motor at $51,900, $52,000, starting dollar amount, $52,000 right there, 20 footer. All right, so then we're going to, of course, go with the 250 SHO. We're gonna put that on there, 18,600 for that. So I'm just gonna give you some pricing here, what goes on. We went with the same options as we talked about on the other 20 footers. Same options, we're sticking with the same. The 36, 45-inch Ultrex, $2,500. The Helix 10s, Gen 2s console, and I go back to the 10s at the console. I had some comments on that, why are we only doing that? It's because I mean, this is like a 10, so you put like this, you gotta be able to see, you know what I mean? I don't like, hey, what's up, man? You know, I think I talked about that before. So yeah, I'm a 10 guy at the console, so I'm just going with 10s at the console, and I upped it and I kept it the same, but we go bigger up front. We went to the Helix 12s up front, Gen 3s, SIs. And then we did add 360 imaging, so keep that in mind. We did add 360 imaging. I think one of the other videos we weren't able to select 360 imaging, so that is another $1,200, just so you know, just another $1,200 on there. I went with the twin 8-foot blades, like the other boats. We went with mount brackets, of course, for that. I went with just the flooded batteries because that's what we stuck with. It is an option, though, with the Ballistic boat to go lithium pearl. So that's an option there. At least I could have clicked on it, but I wanted to keep it the same. So we have a balancing point. 3 of them in 1 deep cycle. We also went with, so for the charger selections, I think, was there only 1 charger on this one? There's only the 1 charger, which I have no problem with. It was the power pole charge. That's what they go with there. So we went with the power pole charge. Custom cover, we added that, just like the rest of them. Keel guard, we added that, just like the rest of them. That's the layout. That's where we were at. Quick rundown. Oops, dropping paperwork. Give me a second. See this? You don't think we do this stuff live? There's no second takes. It's in the water. Put that there. It's like a wet diaper. Anyway, quick rundown. 250 SHO, 36 Ultrex, 210s, 212s, 360 imaging, the 8-foot blades, the standard batteries. The charger was the power pole charge, keel guard, all the options. There she is. You ready for a grand total? Drum roll, please. Jordan, you got that guy that we paid to do the drums. Ready? Listen. He's awesome. He is so awesome. Here we go. $91,477.74. I said it. $91,477.74. There it is. So, are we overpriced or undervalued? You ready? We are undervalued. People right now are going, what are you saying? They're more expensive than the other one. I get it. You're right. They are more expensive. But there's things that go into undervalued, okay? Undervalued. There's a lot of value in the product, which is basically the same, okay? They're basically the same. Boat to boat to boat, they're basically the same when it comes to what is installed. That's the goal of this thing. We're talking value here, people. Value. Value in your purchase. You wanna know how I came up with these numbers? You wanna know how I got this? I picked up my phone and I called Ballistic Boats. You know who answered the phone? Jim Wells answered the phone. He is the owner of the company. The owner of the company, the CEO, the man who makes the decisions, the man who created the boat, answered the company. Now, I've talked to Jim before, but it's not like we're best buds. I've never face-to-face met the guy. but I've talked to him before and he answered my call, and I went through it with him on my specs. He had seen the other brand battles. He had seen everything else we had done, and he answered my questions. You know how I got the answers for the questions on the other ones? We had to go on the website. Okay? Website. There's a difference, okay? And and that's where value comes in. The value comes in with me talking. I'm talking to the owner of the company. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, the guy's not building a raft. He's building some kick-ass equipment here, guys. And they're made in the United States. And in that company, he told me there's 13 employees in that company that build the boats. 13 people build these boats. You know how many? 8 of them are family. 8 of them people are family. 8 out of 13 are family when I was talking to him. Now, if that doesn't mean something to anybody on value, something's wrong there. Because you know what happens when you have 13 employees and not 300? You know what happens when Jim Wells sits there and watches his beautiful creations come to life? He knows that every one of them employees took the time and took the care to make sure that that boat, when it rolls out of his shop, is the best performance bass fishing boat in the market. And I'm not saying anything about anybody else's equipment, but that company, Jim Wells and his crew, take the time to make sure that when you spend $90,000, you get what you deserve. You get the highest quality. And when I say the highest quality, I was talking to Jim, when it comes to vacuum sealing or vacuum infused, I don't know if you know what that is. You need to look at what vacuum infusing is. That is next level. Carbon fiber, Kevlar construction, vinyl ester resin. Anybody know what that is? Look it up. Jim's building his boats out of this stuff. There's not like a kind of sorta. Jim is making sure that these boats are perfect. He's taking the next step. He's spending the extra money on the highest quality products he can to build these boats. And that's where value comes in, people. That's where your value for boat companies and boats themselves are done. When I look at other boats, when we drill holes in other boats, when you look at wiring of completion of other boats, if you've never seen a ballistic boat before, go find one. Go crawl underneath the dash. Go look at what happens. Go look at the craftsmanship that's done there. The inventor, in my eyes, of the touchscreen, the single screen, no gauges. No one else was doing that. He took a bunch of slack for doing that. But when it all worked and the construction came together and how clean and neat it was, when I talked to Jim about that, he was like, I wanted everything to be clean. Now you're talking to a guy that started building boats that did what I did. He was a service guy. He's a certified tech guy. He's also been a salesman. He sold boats. But the biggest thing is he's a fisherman. He cares. He's a fisherman. So what his biggest complaint about other boats were, something breaks out on the water, I want to be able to fix it so I can keep fishing. What more do you ask for? Have you ever seen an engine compartment or a layout of the back of his boats? If you haven't, go on his website, take a look at it. It is the cleanest, the most organized, easy to look at, easy to get down to boat in the industry. I was talking to him when I called him, and he talked about dividers, and he was using words that were over my head on things that he does, that he takes the time to, like individual compartments. He doesn't use anything cheap, nothing generic. He doesn't go off. He's using extra gauge wire to go up front. He's using, and I think he talked about simplicity. He wanted it simple for the customer, simple for the fisherman. So if you need to add on to what after you purchase the boat, you can add on, and you're not going to destroy the boat. You're not going to have to run wires. That comes from a guy that's been in the industry, and that's where your value comes, people. Because when you hook on, yeah, you got 90 grand invested, but obviously we've come to the conclusion, we've done a couple of these, $90,000 is the mark when it comes to 20-foot boats with 250s on them. That's the mark. I mean, that's the mark for a tournament boat, rigging it the way I am. And when it comes to ballistic, when it comes to family, when it comes to a company, I know there's nothing better than what they do out there. And to be resilient like he is, I don't know if you know the history of him, but in the winter of 2016, 2017, he's trying to make boats, trying to build boats, trying to get his name across there, and they have a huge snowstorm out there, and the whole building, woof, collapses on everything that he did. Everything he did is gone. And he started over, and he did it again, and he came back with more of a vengeance, and he came back better. And he came back to the point of where, mark my words, that is the next big name in bass boats, is Ballistic. He's not paying me. He doesn't pay me, just like no one else is paying me to say this stuff. This is my opinion. But when I talked to him about it, and I talked to him, I said, give me a little, definition, or give me some explanation on your boat and what you think. And he really didn't have words, because I think he didn't want to insult anybody else. But I think his biggest goal was he wasn't going to cut edges. He wasn't going to price cut to try to save $10 here, $20 here. He wanted the best bang for your buck, so that way he knew when they rolled away, they were perfect. And what more value is there than that? To know that when you hook onto it, that the people, the men, the women, the family that built the boat took pride in what they do. That's what's important in this industry. And honestly, I think a lot of that's gone away. And that's the part that kind of pisses me off. Because I know when I grab a wrench and I go into these boats that I work on, I take pride in what I do. I take pride in the name of this company. I take pride knowing that I worked on that guy's boat. I take pride in going to a gas station and somebody coming up to me and say, hey man, thanks for working on my boat, it works great. Even if it's to the point where, hey man, everything works great, but I got this going on, or maybe it didn't get fixed correctly. We're humans. But I take pride in fixing it for them again. And all my customers. And I know Jim's the same way. As a owner, me personally, and I don't know him personally, but I think just from talking to him, he gives a damn, and he wants you to be in the best quality that you could be in for your money. And he was nervous about this price. I know he was when they sent it over, because he saw the other ones. But I wanted the honesty, and he blatantly put the honesty right there. And he said we can do it, He told me he had price increases this year, which I get it. It's part of what you got to do. There's still overhead. And you still got to pay all the employees, and you still got to make sure that the company's running. So in the end, I say Ballistic Boats is number one because of that right there. Because of the family, being able to call, talk to the owner, and I know they're taking pride in what they're doing. They're taking pride in every time they lay a hull. Every time they put that final polish on. Every time they screw them seats in. Every time they make sure that wiring harness is perfect. Every time they make sure a zip tie is cut flush. So when you stick your arm in there, you don't get all cut up. Every time they rig the back of that boat. Every time they hang a motor. They take pride in what they do. And in this industry, like I said, in my eyes, that's the biggest value in the whole thing. So, there it is. Jim Wells' $91,000 Ballistic 20-footer is undervalued because of what he does as a person, as a company. That, to me, is priceless. That's all I got to say. Comment on it. Tell me what you think. Most of all, go over, get on his site. Look at that boat. If you're going to spend 90 grand like it seems like you have to, wouldn't you want one made by 13 people versus 300? Wouldn't you want one made by somebody who gives a damn? I know I would. Comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to witness the madness that I hope everybody in a ballistic boat says: speed, money, and no brakes. I'm going home. Have a good weekend, everybody.